and welcome to For the Love of Nature, a podcast where you learn everything you need to know about nature and probably more than you wanted to know. My name is Acey, and today's episode is my choice. Laura and Katy are going to talk about some animals that are named incorrectly for many different reasons.
That's right, and thanks, Acey. Acey's one of our biggest fans and had a great suggestion of what to talk about, and Katy and I are really excited to talk about this topic for many different reasons.
For many different reasons. It's going to be really good. But yeah, Acey picked a really good one, and this isn't the first time we've heard from Acey either.
Right.
We've heard from her.
She sent us fan art, and yes.
She's definitely a big fan, so if you haven't seen the fan art, we'll have to repost that again. Because we post it whenever she sent it. But we'll repost that too so everybody can see. But even though, sometimes we don't talk about the most appropriate topics, she still, she listens in and she's excited, and we love our future nature nerds. That's for sure.
Absolutely. We need more people in our Nature Nerd Nation.
Yes, we do. Join us. All right, Laura, you want to go ahead and start with your nature news?
Sure. Today's topic is going to be somewhere between something we should be talking about, because, it's a relevant topic, and then something that's ridiculous. So I went with some ridiculous nature news.
Fantastic.
I've been talking about it, for 2 weeks. And here's the headline of the article. See if I can keep it together. After years of trying, somebody finally just cooked a chicken by slapping it. So I was like, oh, what is this about? Yes. So apparently Reddit.
Thank you, Reddit.
Apparently, years and years ago, somebody asked a question on Reddit. If kinetic energy is converted into thermal energy, how hard do I have to slap a chicken to cook it? And so some physics people chimed in saying what you'd have to do. So they were very specific. How much your hand weighs, the velocity, the average rotisserie chicken weight.
Let me just pause.
Blah, blah, blah.
I love science. I love the science field because it's so many people that we take it jokes so seriously. And there's so many times where I have to explain to people, I'm not alone in, doing pranks and taking, stupid situations seriously. There's a whole group of us out there.
Right. Because obviously somebody both probably genuinely wanted to know and was also just messing around. And then a physics person was like, you would have to slap a chicken at 3,725 miles per hour in order to cook it with one hit.
With a normal sized hand? Okay.
Yeah, our normal sized hand. No baby hand slapping chickens. So you could slap it if you could do 3,725.95. But the Earth only spins at 1,000 miles per hour. So 3 times
you would put the Earth
rotation of
off
Earth.
Kilter then, wouldn't you? I'm slapping a chicken so hard.
Well, not only that, but literally if you did slap a chicken that hard, it would explode into a billion pieces.
Which cooks
yes, it'd be cooked, but it'd be tiny little fragments. So instead, then they were like, okay, so what about if you slap it enough times? Okay. So somebody was saying, could you slap it 3,726 times at 1 mile per hour to cook it? And people were like, I'm not sure. I don't think so.
That seems they've pretty slow slapping.
1 mile per hour. I don't know. But, of course, leave it to the YouTube and the internet community to figure this out. Because people have been building chicken slapping machines, to try and figure this out. And finally, someone did it, okay? So
you should be able to share your screen on here too. So for everybody who is listening on the podcast, we are slowly but surely uploading these videos to Patreon. So Laura will show the video. We'll probably have to cut the audio for the podcast.
Yeah. I just need you to see how fast it's being slapped. All right, where's the screen? Here we go, screen. It's thinking.
You're good.
Okay, we're in business. Here we go. Let's watch how fast this is. Wait, I can mute it. That way we don't have to.
Oh my gosh, that is.
He built this machine. It broke multiple times because of how fast it's going. Like, literally, like, pieces are flying off.
There's so many jokes to insert right there.
Oh my gosh.
Holy moly.
Because it's also the name of the machine.
Oh,
Hold on.
Yes.
I was dying. Like, it was like a good name, too.
I love scientists.
All right, well, while I find that... Oh, yes, it's called the Meat Slapper 9001.
That's awesome.
So he finally did it, and he cooked it just enough to eat.
Oh, that's risky, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's
man.
just
You know my
enough.
fear after taking microbiology and learning all about, like, the parasites and things you get from meat, man. That is risky.
They did it, and it turns out that he had to slap it 135,000 slaps in 8 hours. But it did it, and it didn't, I mean, yes, it was kind of pulpy, but it was cooked, and he ate it. What? It can be done, people. You can slap a chicken till it's cooked.
There's just...
And we were laughing because also, like, this is obviously probably the healthiest way to cook something because there's no added fats.
Right?
If your hand can take it, just for 2 days, just keep slapping it.
I don't know what I like better right now. The squirrels splooting everywhere.
I know.
This story right
or
here.
The Meat Slapper 9001.
Oh, man.
And that's it. It can be done, people. Just look up the YouTube video. I promise it's worth it.
Oh, goodness. Well, mine is not nearly as funny. Mine is just like a tidbit of news that for some reason they figured out that tardigrades, is that how you say it? You know, tardigrades,
the water bears.
They probably see in black and white. So,
how did they figure that out?
So they found out that they lack the proteins necessary for color vision.
Oh.
Like they just don't.
Okay.
They just don't exist for them.
They're just asking little water bears, all right, please swim towards your color preference.
Blue or green. Yeah, and they have no idea.
And they're just, water bears are aimlessly wandering. They don't know if it's because water bears can't hear, or they can't see color, or...
They speak a different language. They have no idea.
Yeah.
So it says their visual response really varies from directly moves away from dark towards light, or vice versa, to begins to move when exposed to light, trying to search for a place that is no light, obviously because of their environment, that they prefer to live in dark places. And then it says...
That's
right?
so cute.
In humans, most eyes have one visual opsin that best responds to red, one to green, one to blue. The remaining colors that we see are shades and mixes of them, of course. In 2018, Fleming, which is one of the researchers on this, discovered that tardigrades had multiple copies of visual opsins, suggesting that tardigrades might be able to distinguish colors, but they found out that that's actually not true at all.
Gotcha.
So yeah, they're just living in, and it goes into a little bit more detail. Again, thank you,
I guess science. Why do you really need to see color underwater?
Yeah, right. There's really,
if you're not like a predator.
Yeah, and it's not only that, but like you see more contrast in black and white. You know what I mean? And so for somebody who is that small and is survival for like a very particular atmosphere, like, or a very particular environment, not atmosphere, environment, like black and white does suit them. So
yeah. Probably help. They just need to see movement to avoid.
Yes, exactly.
Or find food.
So not as good as slapping chickens.
It's okay. I feel like yours is more naturey. Mine only is naturey because chickens are involved.
But that's amazing. Oh man, there are so many jokes. And if we're this episode, I'm already gonna.
It's gonna be a good one. Our manager Kim said she's stoked for this episode because it's gonna be a wild ride with some of these names.
Shout out to Kim because again, she reads through like our notes and scripting ahead of time, to make sure that to make sure I'm not saying anything totally dumb. Her comments on these outlines were, she was in rare form. It was amazing. Amazing. So shout out to Kim, who is always helping us, keeping us on track, keeping us on schedule, checking in with us, making sure we're not losing our minds, and leaves us amazing comments. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right, you want me to start things off?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so badly named animals can be taken a lot of different ways. And as AC said, we're talking about for many different reasons. So the first reason for me is animals that are named completely inaccurately. And it's something I have some beef with.
I was going to say, like, personal beef.
Why would you name something that's it's just wrong. It's just wrong. So my first one is the electric eel.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it wrong? Well, I'll tell you. But first of all, here's a little natural history for those of you who aren't familiar with electric eels. They live in rivers and swamps in northern South America. They have long snake-like bodies. They eat fish and invertebrates. And what is cool is they can discharge up to 600 volts to stun prey or deter predators, which is 5 times what a wall socket contains. Which, that's pretty serious. I was going to say, that actually pretty good. No joke. But the electricity is mostly used for something called electrolocation. Yeah. So think bats and how they find things using sound. These things find things using electricity because they live in some seriously muddy water. Okay, so that's what an electric eel is. Why is it badly named? Because it's a lie. They're not eels.
Not eels. We've been lied to. Eels. Yeah.
They're in a group that are called knife fish, which are related to catfish.
Which is far
which
more...
you can kind of see. Their faces are definitely more...
But electric eel sounds way more badass than like, yeah, it's a type of catfish.
Yeah. Although knife fish is a pretty cool name.
It is, yeah. It is,
they do... The reason why they're called eels is because, some scientist was like, oh, they look like an eel. Probably is an eel. So they look a lot like eels, but this is just an example of convergent evolution, which is when things look the same, but it's just a coincidence. Like, they've gotten there from different ways. It doesn't mean they're related to each other. They're different from eels in that they lack a dorsal fin, which is on the tummy, right? Dorsal,
yes.
Ventral. Yes. Dorsal is your tummy fin. Sorry.
I just had flashbacks to undergrad. I'm like, oh my god, which one is it?
Totally.
As soon as you're walking into your test, you question everything you've ever known.
Yes.
Hey guys, Katy here. So we definitely had a undergrad freakout moment, and we flipped them around. So dorsal is on the upper side, ventral is on the belly. All right, carry on.
I just flashback right there.
Dorsal fin, they lack maxillary teeth, which are your front top, I believe. And they have to get 80% of their oxygen from just breathing air. Like, these little guys, like, they're not breathing underwater. They're gasping for air in the muddy water. So, they are not eels. Instead, they're knife fish. So, I propose that they should either be called electric knife fish, which still sounds pretty awesome, or shocking noodlefish.
Shocking noodlefish. Yes.
Which would at least still give you a clue as to what they are without presuming they're an eel.
But
still inaccurate. It's not a noodle. So electric knife fish.
I was gonna say electric knife fish. I think would be better. Okay, I can go with that one. Electric knife fish. All right. Was that all you had for that one?
It just definitely just the eel thing too. I also don't think they have a lot of the eels have that freaking awesome extendo mouth.
They don't.
And electric eels don't have that.
Because they're not eels.
Yeah. Please look up eel mouths. To be, horrified, but also it's so cool.
Yeah, you won't sleep tonight after you do that. Yeah. Okay, so I guess yours is just, it shouldn't be named because it's not that. So let me find one, because I do have some that do fall into that category. So let me look. Okay, the first one I have, and I will go over, is the mountain chicken.
Yes! I knew you had this one. This is the only one I knew you had.
Leptodactylus phalanx. Okay, so... which is an amazing name.
I'm breaking down the Latin in my head and wondering where that's going.
I couldn't find much on why it's named that. Leptodactylus, Fallax. Phalanx.
Yeah.
Don't know. So why...
When that breaks, the Latin does not break down to mountain chicken, let me tell you.
So why is it not... Why should it not be called a mountain chicken? Because it's a frog.
It's not even
a chicken. So it's a critic.
It's not even a bird.
No, not even close. So
at least mine were still fish.
No, this is not even close. Because it's not even like it's a reptile. It's a frog, and it's called a mountain chicken. So it's a critically endangered frog. I mean, at this point, minus cane toads. Shouldn't I feel like we should just be saying like most amphibians are endangered. Anyway,
Yeah, all amphibians except for the ones that people hate,
like cane toads. It's found in the Caribbean. Found in one Caribbean island. And it's one of the largest frogs in the world.
What?
I didn't know that either. So it weighs around 2.2 pounds and is approximately
that is a substantial frog.
8.7 inches long, which I thought a bullfrog was big, but the mountain chickens are just a smidge larger in both weight and size. So if you've ever like picked up or seen an American bullfrog, and I'm talking like a full-size honking American bullfrog, these mountain chickens are a little bit bigger than that.
I guess I can start to see where the name is coming from.
So why do they call it a mountain chicken? Contributing to why they have such small numbers in the frogs, and the frog's large size, it was hunted and eaten, which apparently once you eat it, it tastes exactly like chicken. Hence, mountain chicken.
It does.
It lives in the mountains on this Caribbean island.
It just sounds so much like I don't know, like a let's go hunt some mountain chicken. It's just it sounds more Appalachian than Caribbean.
Let's go get some mountain chickens. All right. So what do I think it should be changed to? Just like mountain frog. Like I know it's not that original.
Right, but it would explain what it is. It's quick
and it gets the job done. That's what she said.
You know,
but,
the mountain frog.
Yeah, the mountain frog. Or Caribbean mountain frog. Caribbean mountain frog.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Caribbean mountain frog. Change it from mountain chicken. It's not even Leptodactylus phalanx. It's not even a frog.
And if you want to eliminate people hunting it, probably don't name it something that sounds delicious. You know what I mean?
Leptodactylus phalanx? Or
No. Mountain chicken.
I was like, what? Okay, mountain chicken.
No. Sounds like,
don't name it a chicken.
Oh, yeah. I would order mountain chicken off the menu. Sure.
Chicken. Caribbean.
Probably a very hearty species of chicken.
So Caribbean mountain frog is what I think it should be named as because that just makes sense.
That makes way more sense.
Alrighty. What is your next one?
My other one is my only other, this is a completely inaccurate animal, and I've talked about this a lot in the past with friends and stuff, and blew Kim's mind, apparently. Although she was on the right track herself, she just didn't think science would lie, which
Kim.
If
there's anything...
You sweet summer child.
If there's anything you should know, science always lies. No, not always. Only when it makes complete sense do they change it into something that doesn't make sense.
So my second one is the box turtle. Which is, I love box turtles. One of my, top animals. They're adorable. They look like
this one is
cute little old people.
This one is so shocking to people because it is such a common animal. Continue.
Yes. At least here in the United States, for sure. So, a little natural history. Although box turtles, or things named box turtles, can be found across the globe, they're specifically, what we're talking about is the North American species, which can be broken down into 4 subspecies, which I'm not going into. They live in the eastern half of the U.S., found in woodlands, pastures, and marshy meadows. Like all turtles, they have a shell. They're omnivorous, eating pretty much anything, and they can live for over 100 years. They're adorable in all ways. I take care of 2 at work, a male and a female, and they have such different personalities, and it cracks me
Really?
up.
Can you describe them briefly?
Yeah.
Personalities?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
The male, we just, changed their enclosures this week. Set up new enclosures. On the one hand, you've got our little female, and she's, cautiously checking out everything. She has a new little cave she, peeks her head into, and, just taking it all in. The male, meanwhile, bulldozes in, climbs up on top of his hide, and then dives off of it into his water bowl.
Oh my god.
He face plants. It's a completely different personality.
That's awesome.
And he likes to climb and then just face plant into things because he's a turtle.
I feel like he's a teenage boy.
Yeah. He also loves food, and he gets very upset if it's not food that you're bringing into his enclosure. If I just go in to clean it and there's no food, he'll walk over to his water bowl, grab onto it with his little beak, and just smash it up and down.
Goodness.
Or bite it really hard. Yeah, he gets very frustrated. Anywho, So why is it badly named? 2 different reasons, in my opinion. One, and I actually had a kid ask me this, and I'd never thought about it. It's, why are they called box turtles? Their shells aren't square. And I was like, you're so right. I mean, I know why, but you're right. It definitely does make you think they should have a square shell, and it's not. So
semi-square. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So the top, the carapace, is rounded as a rounded dome. The plastron, or the bottom, is flat and hinged. So when they feel threatened, they can pull all their limbs and their head inside of the shell and close the hinge, allowing them to be completely hidden. This is sort of box-like in the fact that they can hide inside of it, but you can hide inside of a lot of things that aren't boxes. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head.
I'm so excited to hear what you're going to name.
Trash can, I don't know. Oscar's been doing it for years.
It's fine, kids.
So I think we could probably find a better description than box, which I'll suggest in a moment. But the box isn't even the biggest beef of the name. It's the fact that they're called turtles. And they're not turtles. They're tortoises. And everyone's probably like, what? Yes, this is where science has lied to you. So turtles are aquatic with flattened shells, webbed feet, eyes and noses on the top of their heads, and several other features that allow them to spend the majority of their time in the water. Meanwhile, tortoises live on the land, have walking feet, with large dome shells, not such pointy faces, and if I put 2 pictures side by side of a turtle and a tortoise, you'd be like, oh, that box turtle belongs in this category.
Yeah, what you actually see, it is very apparent. Like, one of these is not like the other, and it is the box turtle.
Right. And can they get into the water and swim a little bit? Yeah. Are they made to do it? Absolutely not.
I mean, a house cat can swim if you put it in the water. It doesn't like it.
I just learned that newborns you can throw in water and they'll swim.
Yeah. Are you going to talk
which is crazy to me. The scientist in me wants to try, but I know that would come back to haunt me later in life if I ever become famous. It'll be a Steve Irwin moment for sure.
For those of you who don't know, whenever Steve Irwin had his first child, again, he's a professional. He feeds crocs all the time, and he wanted his daughter to be in on it with him, and so he was holding her while he was feeding a crocodile, and holy moly did he catch backlash for it. But honestly, animal people, we'd be like, this is a normal part of your day. Like, you do it so much.
Right. Like, pregnant me would be feeding crocodiles.
Yeah, right.
And how would that be any different?
Right.
So...
Oh, goodness.
Anywho, so not turtles. So what I think they should be called, 2 serious and 1 joke. 1, absolutely, I think they could be called a hinged tortoise.
Okay.
Because no other tortoise has the hinged shell. So hinged tortoise.
That's actually a really good one.
The impenetrable tortoise, which I also like. And then pretend rocks. But that is just that could describe anything.
Kids, look over there. It's a pretend rock. Yeah.
But a hinged tortoise or an impenetrable tortoise, either way, depends on how BA you want your tortoise to sound.
That would also be like the most boring tour ever. Anywhere. All right, kids. And over here we have a pretend rock. It's natural habitat. You're just like, what is she talking about?
It would be. It caused just as much confusion as the box turtle.
That reminds me of that skit, that video. The Aquarium of the Pacific. This is the Aquarium of the Pacific. There's a skit that they somebody in one zoo did. Let me see if I can find the name of it.
Yeah, it's to talk about how you shouldn't talk to visitors. And it is a thing of beauty.
Aquarium of the Pacific. But his name is Kevin, which makes it even better. Oh man, I can't find it. Anyway, it is.
I'm sure if you Google Aquarium of the Pacific, bad interpretation.
Yeah, you'll find it.
Or Kevin.
Good. From an interpretation standpoint, it is so funny because
otherwise it's just cringy. It's like Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah,
you're just watching. You're like, what is this? And so I did. There's an AZA schools, they can send you like zoo school for something. So I did one for education, and for our presentation, we recreated that. It took, and I was I was Kevin. it took everything in
Yeah,
me.
it would be so hard.
Because, like, we had the background up there, and I stood up there, like, this is, like, in front of, like, work colleagues, professional, like, fun, but you know me and my competitive streak, like, we got graded, and one of them was, like, creative, and
it has to be perfect.
Like, creative, and I'm like, I have to get all those points. So thankfully, I was with an awesome group of other creatives, and we just ran with it, and we even did it to where we had recorded one of our guys talking to himself, and it was like, hey, future self, hey, you, what's up? And it was like back and forth. It was amazing. But anyway, we recreated the Aquarium of the Pacific, and I've never been able to hold in a laugh so hard. Look it up, Aquarium of the Pacific, bad interpretation. I'm sure you will find it. It is funny.
Yeah, guarantee.
All right.
So that was my second one. What about you?
I have the Bombay duck. All right.
Tell me how this is wrong.
So, this is another one. A stupid name.
Wait, you're going to tell me it's not a duck?
It's a stupid name given to a stupid animal. Yep. This Bombay duck would be a great name for, I don't know, maybe a duck species that lives in or around Bombay. But no, it's a species of fish. So, right?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So, from what I can find, no one really even knows the origin of why they started calling them the Bombay duck.
I found that with some of my future species, too.
There are some horrible stories that are very racist, that they're like, maybe this is why, but there's no, like, definitive knowledge of why they...
Just is what it
why
is.
they start calling them Bombay duck. So it's a fish. It is found in India, but not Bombay, Mumbai. So not even like the right geographical location. It is frequently fished and prepared in a variety of ways for consumption, making it a fairly regular fish to eat. Like it is.
Okay. So like the equivalent of chicken.
Or a cat, like more like a catfish here. Like if you look for it, you will find it. You will find it to eat.
Sorry, my brain was making the connection with the mountain chicken. So it's called mountain chicken because people like to eat it. Maybe this is duck because people like to eat it.
And slapping.
Does it taste like duck?
No, I couldn't find that actually because so many different people.
This one's a greasier tasting chicken.
Yeah, right.
AKA a duck.
But it's fish. So they salt them, skin them. I mean, they are really a part of India's culture for consumption in that area. It's just not a duck. Yeah, like so.
And the wrong place. Yeah. So wrong on both counts.
So again, this is another short one for me. But I mean,
any name suggestions?
Like,
what does it look like?
Oh, it is actually a weird looking animal. If you just Google Bombay duck, it is
Bombay duck.
It's actually quite terrifying.
Like it could be named something interesting.
Like terrifying. But like, why not call it like, and because it has like a weird like,
right? It's got a huge mouth. Something with its jaw.
That's what I was going to say. It has to be like something like Mumbai jawfish or something like that.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense.
Because it has a huge open mouth. And they do get pretty big, but it's readily fished. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of shortage. They do, like, you can find these, like, shipped all over the world, but it does look pretty terrifying and has huge teeth.
It looks more like a deeper
It does,
fish.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got that jaw that you're like, oh.
So yeah, Mumbai jawfish maybe. But it is kind of creepy. Yeah, definitely not a Bombay duck.
It doesn't even quack.
Definitely not a Mumbai duck.
Alrighty. Well, that's funny. And so the rest of mine are like funny names and also just not what they are. So still inaccurate, but not like scientifically inaccurate as much as just like this. Why is this name?
All right.
So perfect transition.
I'm really hoping. So I do have to confess, I know one more of yours. Go ahead, go for it. I hope this is the next one.
Well, and so the next one, I actually, as I'm writing things, I replaced one.
Oh, okay.
But I doubt it's the one that you may or may not know. This one, I just died laughing because I couldn't understand. There is no reason. My husband is on the couch, and I just can't keep going, why? But why is it called that? Because I couldn't find the information anywhere. It's called the wandering donkey. Okay. What kind of animal could this be? Not a donkey. It's a species of butterfly.
Wait. Okay, now I'm looking it up. Wandering.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
wait.
a gorgeous...
First of all, it's a wandering, right? Not O wandering.
Wandering.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Wandering donkey.
Well, I want to make sure it's not like a thinking donkey.
Yeah.
Like, is it a
wandering. Yeah, wandering. That'd be even better.
Is it a wandering donkey? Or a wandering
wandering donkey. So the wandering donkey is a species of butterfly found in sub-Saharan Africa and southwest Arabia, or the Arabian Peninsula. It lives mainly, it uses the passion vine as a host plant. Wingspan of about 2 inches, so not huge. And it's beautiful. The wings are orange with transparent tips and black markings.
Very interesting. The transparent part of it. I just Googled it to look.
Yeah,
that's
what I was thinking too. Why is it badly named? Obviously not a donkey.
Of the wandering time.
Other than that, I could find zero reason why it's called that. Does it wander? Maybe. I mean, all butterflies flit around.
Yeah, right? All butterflies kind of wander. Not wonder, wander.
Yeah, I couldn't find, like, this doesn't, like, migrate.
It doesn't migrate even?
I don't think so.
Grief. Well, yeah, I guess it would be
it's
too
just
warm.
wandering around as butterflies do. Why a donkey? No freaking clue. It doesn't resemble a donkey in any way that I could find.
What's the Latin name?
Like,
is that
no, great
is that
question.
maybe something that has to do with the donkey? Maybe. Surely not.
Wandering. No, yeah, surely not. I don't think well, no, I wouldn't say that. Entomologist would absolutely name some. Okay, typing in wandering donkey does not bring this up.
It's a food truck. I just did that.
Food truck. That's hilarious. Wandering donkey.
Which is a pretty sweet name for a food truck. Oh, you're gonna go down to the wandering donkey after lunch? Yeah, sure.
Does not translate to donkey. It's the Acraea, which is the family. So sometimes it's called the wandering donkey Acraea.
Okay.
Neobule, which new.
Yes.
Bule, can't remember. So yeah, wandering donkey. The only, like, my brain is trying so hard to, like, connect the dots of where this name came from. I'm like, okay, the wings are kind of long, like donkey ears.
That's
such a stretch. So, no idea why it's called that. In my opinion, I think it should be called the fragile tiger butterfly.
Okay.
Because it's like orangey striped and it looks very delicate. Or the long-winged jack-o'-lantern butterfly. But that's very, like, nation specific.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the fragile tiger butterfly.
Okay.
Possibly.
Or just fragile tiger.
Ooh, the fragile tiger. Yeah. But again, kind of misleading. Not a tiger.
Not the crouching tiger. The fragile. The fragile.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So that's it. Wandering donkey. Not a donkey.
All right. You ready for my next one?
Yes.
So, shout out to Kim, who said that this is her least favorite bird, and it's the tufted titmouse.
I love tufted titmice. I know. I was arguing with Kim over, okay, like, yes, do you see them all the time? Sure. But they're so cute and chubby, and they have a lot of sassy personalities.
They do. Well, she said it's her least favorite bird. So, Kim, and apparently it's because she has one
She clearly hasn't met any parrots in person.
Right? No. So at 5 a.m. outside her window, I hate this bird so much, is what one of her other comments are. So she really does not like the tufted titmouse. So why is it poorly named? Come on, people. I'll go into it. I'll go into it here. So the tufted titmouse is found in eastern U.S. and the smallest of the crested birds, coming in at about 5.5 inches long from beak to tail.
And all chub.
The titmouse has a gray beak, a gray head, back, wings, and tail, and a white breast with buff-colored flanks. The only other color is a small patch of black on the bird's forehead. Males and females are identical in appearance, which I guess makes it easier for birders because I hate identifying some of these birds that are like, it's molting, males and females, it's juvenile. Yeah. All right, so the tufted titmouse's name derives from the Old English word tit and mace, which basically means small.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which basically means small bird. the word mace, M-A-S-E, eventually became obsolete, and this part of the name morphed into the familiar word mouse, which would be a convenient switch, because it is a quick-moving little gray bird, probably remind...
And they make really tiny, like, little squeaky sounds almost.
Well, all that logic still doesn't negate that the bird's call is also described as saying, Peter, Peter.
Peter, Peter.
Which, come on. So you have a bird named Titmouse, and it calls Peter, Peter. So here's my real beef, though, with it. Many of the other parrot birds, aka like the chickadees, the titbirds, have all, like a lot of them have been renamed. Except this bird. So if the chickadees, though, were renamed for their call. So if we go that...
The Peter bird?
Peter bird. So, though, if it was named the Peter bird and is 5.5 inches long, it would be an average sized bird. Boom!
No! That's amazing.
But, so if I had to rename it anything, it would be the Peter bird. Because then it would make a little bit more sense. Because that's what they name they renamed all the chickadees as their calls.
Yeah, have they renamed? I don't think they've renamed most of the other, like, of the tits, though, in Europe.
Not in Europe. Not in Europe.
It's just like the greater tit, the blue tit.
Not in Europe. I actually have a mug. I don't have it around here, but I have a mug that has all the horribly named birds on it, and it is so funny. I so wish I could take it to work, but there's only like a couple people I work with that would appreciate that humor.
Yeah. So, it's like the not safe for work mug.
But it is so funny. So, Tufted Titmouse, I would totally rename it as the Peter bird, because why not, man?
When they get upset, that's when their crest goes up. Okay. I mean, it's always up, kind of. But I feel like it goes more up. All
5.5 inches of its average size birdness.
That's so good. I can't wait to talk about that with the naturalists at work. Did you know?
Did you know? Tufted Titmouse, Peter bird. All right.
Love it.
Your next one.
Alrighty. I'll go do my bird then. That's just ridiculous. Mine's the fluffy-backed tit babbler.
Okay, first of all, I will say, if you're cracking up as much as we are right now, be careful what you Google, but just Google, like, tit bird.
Yeah, be careful what you Google. Yeah,
but it's
for sure.
Scientists have a twisted sense of humor, and when they see an opportunity, they're gonna take it. My people.
Yeah, or even just, like, they gave up. Like, there are some bird names where they just gave up. Like, I don't think probably any of us chose them, but what is the one? It was, like, the average swift.
Oh, yeah, that's my last bird.
Like,
that's my last bird,
just like...
So, yeah, the average swift. Yeah, just the average one. Go ahead with your tit bird.
The tit babbler, which... So the fluffy back tit babbler, very hard to find information on.
The fact that it's also the fluffy back.
All of the name is good.
Go ahead, continue.
So, natural history-wise, very hard to find information on it. It's found in forested areas of Southeast Asia, so most of the islands of Southeast Asia. It's a chestnut brown bird with a black throat and blue skin patches on its face and neck. And it's, like, kind of robin-shaped, in my opinion. Feeds on insects, and other than that, I have no idea because I found nothing else about it unless I paid, and then maybe I can find it out.
And we're poor and need more Patreon supporters, folks. So we can pay.
If we had more Patreon, I could give you some more natural history on this bird. So why is it badly named? Well, I think it seems pretty self-explanatory. It just sounds insulting to the poor bird to call it a tit babbler.
And a fluffy backed, like...
Yeah.
Fluffy backed.
So let's break down the name. Fluffy backed. You can pretty much never see the back of this bird because it's up in the trees. Yeah. So mentioning it in the name is pointless. It's not even that
it's
fluffy.
Not descriptive.
There's like a couple of stray feathers coming off. Nothing crazy. So fluffy backed, dumb. Tit babbler. Here's where things get interesting. As ridiculous as it sounds, it's actually just the combination of two bird groups, the tits and the babblers.
So it doesn't even, it's not even like a talkative bird. You know what I mean? Like,
kind of, yeah. So you already brought up the tits, so there's the babblers. So babbler was a term coined for a group of birds in the 1830s for zero reason. Other than that, maybe it's because they're pretty vocal birds, but apparently it's like a dumping ground
for all the
for
random
people that
ones.
They didn't know what kind of bird family they were. Oh, it's just another babbler.
Babblers, yeah.
Yeah, just dismiss it. So, babbling though, I mean, calling something a babbler, coming from someone who talks a lot.
Two people who talk a lot.
Yeah.
Babbler.
A babbler, it's got some negative connotations and assumes that the poor bird has nothing worthwhile to say.
Maybe it does.
They're just babbling.
It does.
Yeah, maybe it is, like, quite well spoken. Tits are the other group, includes our chickadees, as Katie said, but it's very misleading because this bird is not at all related to the tit family.
What the heck?
So they first used this name, tit babbler, in the 1890s, and it's assumed that these birds reminded the English, who were visiting the area, of tits back home. So they just combined the names.
Oh, so good.
So they don't look, and by the way,
we're mature.
All connotations aside, they look nothing like the tit family of birds. Tits are cute and chubby little birds. This thing looks like a robin.
Does. It way more does.
That's brown. So poorly named. I suggest that it is either called the blue-faced babbler, although babbler is still pretty insulting, or I like better the chestnut chatterbird.
Okay. Chestnut chatterbird. I like that.
Because you could be chatter.
Yeah,
you can,
chatty.
I'm a chatter.
No big deal.
Doesn't have to be bad.
Babbler. Jeez.
Yeah.
Insulting.
That thing just babbling back there.
Good night. All right. You ready for my next one? Ready for my next one?
Sure.
Alrighty.
I'm going to turn on my light. It's getting dark in here.
Oh, no. Okay, so my next one is the bastard mullet. It's Megalops cyprinides.
That's actually probably pretty close to what it is.
So it's also known as a bony mullet, which not much better from the bastard mullet.
A bony.
Or ox-eyed mullet, or Indo-Pacific tarpon. So in this...
Okay. Tarpon sounds fish-like.
It's fish. It's a fish.
But mullet is just a wandering...
The bastard mullet.
Hairpiece? Like...
just a floating hairpiece.
But gotta be fun, though.
Yeah.
It's a mullet. That's gotta be a fun fish.
Just in the back. So they'll actually...
I tell you what, that fish looks all business in the front, but it is fun in the back. That would be the weirdest thing for someone to say about a fish. I want so much to have that be the reason it's called that. Some crazy fish.
Some intern that discovered it and is like, yeah, man, it's the bastard mullet, and he's like, business up front, party in the back. As he's like,
just why?
What is it? He's like chugging down White Claw cans because that's like what all the college kids are drinking.
That in one hand and the fish in the other, as he's like turn the poor fish.
It's the bastard mullet. Yeah. All right. So they
poor thing never knew his mom. No, or dad. Dad would be dad. Sorry.
Oh man, so good. All right, so this fish will actually go to the surface and gulp air, just like Laura's electric non-eel eel.
Yeah, electric non-eel.
They have to do this because often where they are found are sections of the ocean where it is very oxygen deprived, and it's the northern Australian coast, surprisingly enough. So it's a large silver-colored fish with a bluish-green back, a very large mouth with a protruding lower jaw, a deeply forked tail, large scales, and an elongate last dorsal fin. If you're going to Google it...
I did. It's nothing special in my opinion. I mean, it's a fish.
Yeah, it's a fish. It's literally. If I saw that, I'd be like, I have no idea what this is because it's just another fish. So I don't know, and that's really like all the information I could find on it. Again, this was like one that was not really far out there, but like what was another name I would pick for it? Well, it's called the bony mullet. Let's just roll that one out. Ox-eye mullet, or it's called like Indo-Pacific tarpon. Let's just go with that.
That's an adequate name. Yeah.
Let's just go with that one.
Because a tarpon, I'm pretty sure, is a type.
Yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Fish.
Absolutely. So I would just say name it the Indo-Pacific tarpon. Like it tells you what it is. I think. I
wonder how it got its name.
I couldn't find that either, but it did come up on like a ton, and that's how I found out about it because it came up on a ton of different lists of like stupidly named animals.
It was an intern. We'll just say it was.
It was an intern with a white claw in one hand and the bastard mullet and the mullet in the other one. But there is
that'd actually be a really good thing for Josh to draw too.
Oh my goodness!
Preferably the intern will also have a mullet.
Yes,
Josh.
which is coming back. That style is coming back.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like I'm.
Please don't, listeners. Please
I feel
don't.
like I'm in an '80s hockey game, like because it's like curly mullet. Like that is an '80s into like the '90s, like early '90s thing.
Yeah,
but, it's coming back apparently. But yeah, so if you want more information, if you look up Indo-Pacific tarpon, there's a lot more information on it that way. So I think bastard mullet is just an old name of what they called it. Why? Don't know. But it is well known. And another one, the second and most popular one is the ox-eye mullet.
I wonder if it looked like some of the pictures may have had spots. Some of them
I don't know.
didn't.
It literally just looks like a silverfish. Like there's
with some lines and
nothing impressive about this thing whatsoever. Bastard mullet.
The Bombay duck was more definitely like you could describe that fish better.
But this is like it's just a silverfish. There's nothing special. Alrighty, your next one. Go.
All right. Okay. White spotted tadpole. Obviously, you're thinking it's a tadpole, but it's not. It's another type of butterfly.
I was going to say, if this episode has taught you anything, it's not. Like,
yeah, I don't believe. Literally, anytime someone tells you a common name,
don't believe it.
Question. Yeah. So the white spotted tadpole. It's a species of butterfly found in the rainforests of Central and South America. It is so tiny. Like when I read, I'm just imagining even discovering this butterfly. Its wingspan is 1/4 of an inch.
What?
Yeah.
That's
so like. How did they?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be like, that's a gnat.
That's a gnat, or it's How do you even find that?
I also read somewhere else like 3/4, but either way,
it's still incredibly tiny.
It's a very tiny.
Good grief.
It's gorgeous though. It's dark. It has dark brown black wings with a white or orange eye spot in the middle of the wing and two like what look like tails coming down, like our swallowtails.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to look it up now. What was it? White spotted
tadpole butterfly. Because if you look up white spotted tadpole, you're just going to get tadpole pictures. I see. Why is it badly named? Obviously, because it isn't a tadpole or even an amphibian.
Not even close.
I'll give it white spotted because it does have white spots. But the whole tadpole part of the name likely comes from the fact that their tailed wings, they're a little bit wavy.
Okay.
So it looks like the tail of a tadpole. Mm-hmm. But still very confusing. Yeah. Because if you told anyone you found a white spotted tadpole, they're not going to think you found a butterfly.
Yeah, what were you doing down by the water? Is what they would ask you. Like.
Yeah. So I think it should be called a minuscule white spotted swallowtail.
I could go with that.
Or just white spotted swallowtail.
Yeah,
whatever. I just think it's cool that it's tiny. Yeah. Because essentially it is literally just like our right tiger swallowtail, things like that. Or if you're going to be really specific, a white spotted tadpole tailed butterfly.
Okay.
But add in the fact that it's a butterfly.
Somewhere in the name. Somewhere it has to be called a butterfly.
Yeah. And so, inaccurately named, but pretty butterfly.
But a pretty butterfly. Alrighty, here's my next one. So my next one because it's an insect, it does only go by its scientific name, and that's colon rectum.
Yes,
and
perfect. I also found some weird time. People were just like, come on.
So it's a type of beetle. It's a type of beetle in the Leodidae family. I don't know. Josh is going to murder me for mispronouncing it so wrong. So when I was searching this beetle, I came across a Reddit page with the beetle colon rectum listed as an answer for the prompt, which animals would most likely object to the names we give them? And I would definitely agree with this one. Colon rectum.
You'd be like, what the heck, guys?
So oddly enough, though, it's a small scavenger beetle found in Alberta, Ontario, and Quebec up in Canada. And so that's kind of like not, because it's so cold, that's just not a place I really pictured a scavenger.
Yeah, I think a lot of beetles living.
So like I said, it's in the family Leodidae. Sorry, Josh. This unobtrusive round fungus beetle was first described in 1933 by University of Washington entomologist Melville H. Hatch. Hatch is also credited with naming similar silly names such as colon forceps, colon monstrum, colon grossum, and colon horni.
Okay, obviously, this guy had a weird proclivity for colons.
I was also like, maybe after one or two, you're like, okay, that's funny.
Yeah, it's just like a toddler who keeps trying the same joke to get you to laugh, and after a while, it's just not
you're
funny
just
anymore.
Like, man.
You're like, dude, we get it. Colon. It was funny.
Hatch,
Now it's not.
Too much. Colon horni. Like, colon forceps, like, that one is pretty funny.
I guess they're all in the same genus.
Yeah, but it's just, I was like...
They're just all colon beetles.
Yeah, like, how many...
Which is terrifying.
Right.
To think of... I never want to meet something named a colon beetle.
Does that describe where it lives? Does it... Where...
Right, that's immediately, I'd be like, oh my gosh.
But this is another...
Just everything clench.
Everything. It's not going anywhere. You're staying away.
Not my colon, not today.
So, but other than that information I gave you, I could not find anything on the colon rectum.
I'm sure.
Because it's a beetle.
Because nobody cares about them, unfortunately.
But it's also just...
But Hatch.
And it's a, like, again, it's a beetle. Like, a normal-looking beetle. There's nothing special about it.
Is it brown?
Yeah. But, I mean...
Okay.
Like...
That's the only...
So are a lot of beetles. But... So, anyway, colon rectum, it's a beetle. Clench as hard as you can and hope it doesn't find you.
Oh, man. I'll do another insect. Insects, there are a lot. Entomologists do just have a great sense of humor.
And also, there's so many of them. I guess if you're like, I guess, like, maybe the first one, entomologists are probably like, oh my gosh, this is my time. I'm going to name it. They name it. But then when they keep coming up with these ones, they're probably just like, screw it, and just start naming them.
Yeah. And most of these, that we're talking about today are common names. Yours was just scientific. But in general, common names are also variable all over the world. So my next one is the sparkle muffin, which is just such a good name. But it completely, it doesn't tell you what it is
not
at all.
even close.
It just sounds like something you would say to, your pet. Like, look at you, little sparkle muffin. It's a little spider. It's a peacock spider.
That honestly makes it better that it's sparkle muffin. It's a tiny spider.
Sparkle muffin, the tiny peacock spider. So peacock spiders are known for being brightly colored and doing flashy mating dances, which includes arm waving, shaking, and rolling around. They totally dance. If you also look up a video of that, they're adorable.
I'll have to look it up.
Because they're a type of jumping spider. So we're already talking cutesy, tiny. And I had a discussion with my family this past weekend about, spiders aren't cute. Lies, jumping spiders are cute. Just look up Lucas the spider. Right? He will change your mind.
It's the big eyes and the tiny voice of Lucas the spider that will sell you over.
And just the fact that this little guy is dancing. He's got, they're good dancers.
They are. Better than I am. I love to dance. Love to dance. But
I think we probably dance about equivalent. Like, I probably dance like a peacock spider, which is just flat, like, lots of arm waving and movement, but not actually, like, steps. Just rolling and shaking and arm waving.
Your feet stay
describe my dancing much better.
planted. Just, yeah.
So, this is actually a newly discovered species. It was discovered in 2015 in Australia. Yeah, so the sparkle muffin is new. Like all spiders, they are carnivores, and they have beautiful red and blue striped pattern on their abdomen. So, like peacock spiders, they're all flashy and gorgeous. So why is it badly named? So, like I said, I think it's hilarious and cute, but it's more of a pet name than a species name.
Yeah, right.
If you heard there was a sparkle muffin dancing on a tree nearby, you have zero idea what the person was talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
They were probably on drugs.
Well, especially if you try to describe it, because it is unique looking, and so if you try to describe it to somebody like, oh, I saw this dancing spider over there, and it was brightly colored, you're probably like, what did you just eat? Like, were you smoking something?
But, right, sparkle muffin doesn't mean anything. So is it sparkly? Absolutely. Yeah. Is it a muffin? No. So I think it should be called a red and blue dancing spider.
Okay.
Which is boring, but accurate.
Or just red, blue dancing spider. Take out the and. Red, blue dancing spider.
You're right. Red, blue. Red, blue dancing spider. The sparkling jazzy spider, or as Kim says, the jazz hand spider.
Because it does
But jazz hand spider could be any of the peacock spiders.
True. Okay.
Or the Michael Jackson jumping spider.
Oh, there we go.
Also describes like any peacock spider. So if you want to be really specific, the red, blue dancing spider or red, blue peacock spider.
Okay. I can do that one.
Look it up. He's cute. Or she's cute.
Alrighty. My next one is also a scientific name, keeping right in line with butts. It's Aploparchus turdi. And this one makes me want to vomit because it is hands down my least favorite group of animals in the world. It's a species of flatworm. I hate flatworms. Just why? It's in the family Hymen.
Does it live in you? Does it actually live in you?
It could. So they, like most flatworms, are hermaphrodites. They rely on ciliary gliding, to move around. And I will say with this one, as disgusting as it is, I did think they hit the nail on the head because, like, it's a flatworm.
They do. You're right. They do also kind of resemble that shape.
So it makes sense. They are frequently found in feces. This flatworm, I guess, can be found in any species, technically. But there seems to be a lot of research of this particular one in robin and thrush poop. And, thrush the bird, not the yeast infection. So, I don't know why it's those particular ones. But again, that was,
interesting.
One that was around a flatworm, Aploparchus turdi. It's a flatworm. Yeah, and, I don't know how much more natural history I can give other than flatworms suck. Nobody wants one. I'm not sure the purpose of their life. I know everything is supposed to have a purpose in the ecosystem. Flatworms, I'm not sure, but yeah. Turdies.
Yeah. I guess, better name, like the thrush flatworm.
Yeah,
because it's found in
the
that
bird,
family.
Not the yeast infection. Just.
Right. Thrush flatworm, bird feces flatworm, bird poo flatworm.
It's a gross flatworm. So poorly named, yes and no. Like turdi, you really could have been more creative there, but it is called it like they saw it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, you have more. I have one more after this.
Yes. I have 3 more, but so I've got, but I do want to talk about them all because they're all good. So my last ridiculous one, I just couldn't stop laughing because it just cracks me up. This one's called the uncertain, and it leaves me waiting for more.
Like, whoa, what is it?
But it's just the uncertain. Some people would call it the uncertain moth.
The uncertain
But
moth. Okay.
if you Google it, it's a lot of times just the uncertain.
The uncertain.
So, the uncertain is a species of moth that lives in woodlands, meadows, and gardens of Europe and northern Asia. As caterpillars, they feed on low-growing plants like dock and plantain, about a 1-inch wingspan, and very closely resembles another species of moth called the rustic. It is so similar, in fact, that the only guarantee is that you have to dissect its genitals in order to know. Why anyone would only an entomologist would take the time
to do that.
But
Man.
So why is it badly named? The uncertain. What kind of name is
uncertain.
that? You might not even be referring to an animal,
Yeah.
much less a moth. You're just like the uncertain. Yeah,
The uncertain what?
what?
Yeah. The what?
So and even saying the uncertain moth is a total cop out. Like there's got to be something else. I get that it's virtually impossible to identify against the rustic. And I'm assuming the rustic came first, and then they were just like, I don't know, this one's pretty uncertain whether or not it is.
The uncertain.
But I propose that there could be some more names for it, such as the ambiguous brown moth.
Okay.
Because it's brown and it's ambiguous. And, or, even if you want to get really specific, the trumpet genital moth.
I mean, that's specific.
Because that's the way to tell the difference, is if it has, there's apparently all these little tiny weird ways in the genitals to know, but there's a part of it that's trumpet shaped.
These poor little creatures just violated.
How do I know what it is? Well, I'm gonna have to dissect your genitals. You're right, poor things.
Sitting there trying to mind his own business and gets his genitals hacked open.
And if you're really gonna cop out, then just call it the rustic moth 2.0.
There we go. There we go.
Like anything other than just the uncertain.
Poor moth just sitting there trying to cross its legs, mind its own
Has
business.
an identity crisis. I don't even know what I am.
Leave me alone. Oh, goodness. That was a good one.
All right, what's your last one?
My last...
Are we getting into the
I didn't have any politically correct one.
Okay.
I didn't have any. Mine were... come on, you know me. Mine are just ridiculous ones. And that flows well with this last one. So moving on from the butt ones, this is the tasseled wobbegong.
I saw this one. I almost put it on my list.
I had never even heard of this thing.
I hadn't either. But when you Google weird named animals, this one's on every list.
Single list. So anyway, I had no idea until I started looking up info for this episode. Apparently, the tasseled wobbegong is a species of carpet shark. So what's a carpet shark? Anything...
Actually, that describes the way it looks pretty well.
Way better than the tasseled wobbegong. Wobbegong?
Is it wobbegong or wobbegong?
Wobbegong.
Wobbegong is even better.
That's what it's named to me. Wobbegong. That's flattering. Alright, so it's any shark in the order Ectolobiformes of shark of tropical and warm temperate oceans that have 2 dorsal fins without spines, barbels typically near without dorsal fin spines, barbels typically near the nostrils, and often you'll see it's very interesting molted skin pattern. It's not normal smooth. It's weird. It's very
to blend in because it blends in
with
the
bottom.
I'm assuming as a carpet shark, it's
right,
the bottom. Yeah.
Right. Yes. So more practically, it is called the carpet shark because they sit very still on the ocean floor, waiting for prey to swim too close to its mouth and just. So breaking down its scientific name, Eucrocrinus dasypogon. I don't know.
I don't even know. I got no clues on that one.
So from the Greek, actually, dasy's, Dasys, which means hairy, and pogong, which means beard. So when you
it does have a beard.
You look at this carpet shark, it definitely looks like it has like a tasseled beard. But a beard made of like coral, if that's it. You know what I mean? Because it's like really...
Yeah, it definitely is trying to camouflage.
So it's, like, it's very interesting. So it reaches approximately 4 feet in length, and compared to other sharks, that's not particularly all that big. Especially since this is another ocean dweller found in the waters of northern Australia. You would kind of assume it'd be a little bit bigger than that. So we could have, we could just have the bastard mullet chilling with the tasseled wobbegong. And I'm not quite sure why scientists keep naming things. They have way too much fun and power with these things, but Kim...
Wobbegong sounds so much like a kid's book monster.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Like the Wobbegong is going to get you.
What's the one in Winnie the Pooh? What's the bad one?
Oh, yeah, like the Heffalump-and-Woozle.
Yeah, the Heffalump-and-Woozles, and there's another one.
There might be, but I can't remember.
Anyway, so...
But Wobbegong definitely sounds like some, like, weird creature, like from a book.
Kim's suggestion is the scraggly bearded sploot. Is what... and I was like...
It is
fluty. To which she then...
I was just going to say the coral bearded carpet shark.
That's a mouthful, though. But I guess tasseled wobbegong
or the bearded carpet shark.
Yeah, bearded carpet shark I think would be way quicker. But Kim's suggested name, scraggly bearded sploot. Flips hair is what she has. But bearded carpet shark, I think, would get the job done. And those are the ones that I had. So I had that.
It is a freaky looking animal,
really
though.
Freaky. So look it up, tasseled, and then wobbegong. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Wobbegong.
I wonder if it's like it has like indigenous roots.
I'm not sure
in the area.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but it is like a crazy name thing, and it like doesn't. Again, that's like another one that if you said it, and that's why I picked it. Of like just like crazy name things. It's not necessarily
you would never know what kind of animal
it is, and you gotta be somewhat descriptive so people know what the heck you're talking about. But no,
totally
never know.
Common names are
they
weird.
are.
All right, well, I can end it with two. So my last two animals. One AC brought up when she suggested this topic, and that's what the one I'll end with.
AC.
Yeah, but it's basically the thought that maybe there are some animals with names out there that are incredibly insensitive or politically incorrect or just should not be named that. So I'm going to start with Hitler's eyeless beetle.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, come on, man. So natural history. The beetle was discovered by a German-Austrian collector, Oskar Scheibel, in 1937, which is when Hitler first became Chancellor of Germany. And by discovered, I mean that this dude bought an unknown species of beetle from some market, I guess, and just decided to name it.
Man, why didn't I think of that?
Right? I'll just buy something. But, of course, at the time, Hitler personally thanked him for naming this eyeless beetle after him.
What an honor.
Right. Some people actually think, I don't think this is true, but this was brought up. What if the guy named it after Hitler, like, as a slight, because it's an eyeless beetle?
Oh.
Probably
not, but okay.
That would be a nice thought.
Right?
Natural...
Go ahead.
Yeah. Natural history-wise, it is found in a single cave in Slovenia, which is in, like, if you're looking on a map, it's, like, above Italy in the mountainish areas there. It is truly eyeless, as there is no need for eyeballs in caves. It's orange-brown in color, and pretty much nothing is known about them.
Interesting.
The only thing, one source that I found, suggested that they probably eat other insects. The scientific name translates to the eyeless one of Hitler. Like, it's Adolphi. It's definitely named after Hitler. And what the craziness behind it is that this beetle is still sought after by those who collect Hitler memorabilia.
What?
So it is hunted in large numbers and threatened with extinction right now. Because people just keep going to this cave to buy get this beetle because of what it's named. And it's not even safe in museums, as some specimens have been stolen.
Okay.
Yep.
What? It has nothing
Yes.
to do, really nothing to do
Nothing.
with him.
It's the name. It's the name only.
So weird.
So, why is it called? Why is it badly named? Okay, obviously. So the species
I feel
is
like we're
named after?
people can have a difference of opinions and things like that, but I feel like we all agree on this one to not.
Yeah, yes. And if you don't agree, at least on the fact of that something shouldn't be named after Hitler, then this probably isn't the podcast
Yeah,
for
right,
you.
right.
Like we could just say that it's our podcast. So this species is, of course, named after Hitler, a man who is responsible for genocide and crimes against humanity. There should be nothing named after him. Not that he should be forgotten.
Correct.
Because I
correct.
definitely
we
do
can't.
not
Yeah, we
think
can't
that.
forget it. But like,
Yes, there's no honor.
Correct,
there.
yeah.
Okay, there should be no. Yes. So the problem is, and actually, I went down this rabbit hole.
yes,
The problem
we
is,
really need to make a
any
rabbit hole
sci-
shirt. I don't know what it is. We really need to make
Yeah.
a down the rabbit hole shirt.
Yeah. And it's that, did you know that there is an international commission on zoological nomenclature? Okay.
Now I know.
Somebody, yeah, maybe this episode has made you think, I wonder how animals are named. There is a code of how an animal is named scientifically.
Yes,
The
yes.
nomenclature has nothing to do with
Yeah.
common names. It's their scientific name. You have to propose a name using this code to this
Yes.
commission.
I
Then the
did know
commission
that. I just didn't know
accepts
the
it or
name.
denies it.
Yeah.
I didn't. I figured probably there was a rule
Yeah.
somewhere, but I didn't. Yeah.
I mean, they got
So-
third eye through, so can't be that hard.
Yeah. The problem is that, and the advantage of we should have a code.
Yeah.
It governs rules and regulations because their goal is to maximize universality across. Everyone knows the same
Yes.
scientific name, even if not the
Yeah.
common name, and having continuity through time. So that name never changes. And that's where we come into the problem. Because a common name can be changed rather easily. A scientific name, it is very hard to get
But
changed
even if-
because they want it to stay the same
Okay,
continuity.
so what was its scientific name again?
Its scientific name, hold on, let me remember the first part. I know it's Adolphi, but what is the first part?
I feel like even if we change the common name, you know what I mean? Like the scientific name.
Oh, yeah.
Over
It's,
time.
Anophthalmus hitleri, not Adolphi. Anophthalmus hitleri.
Okay.
So it's obviously Hitler.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like over
we should
time, if
definitely-
we change the common name, over time, people would lose the association with associating it with Hitler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So even if we can't get the scientific name right, we can
The
at least stop calling
yeah.
it Hitler's eyeless beetle and only call it its scientific
Yeah.
name. So in my opinion, this name is not only offensive, but is directly leading to the demise
Yeah.
of the species due to idiots obsessed with collecting Hitler
we're
memorabilia.
just, that to me is just like,
Mind
Yeah.
blowing. Yeah. And it's happening more and more often, which probably surprises no
Yeah,
one because
right.
the whole world is going crazy. So, in my opinion, we should be calling it the Slovenian eyeless cave
Okay.
beetle. It lives in one cave in Slovenia,
Yeah,
man.
that's-
Like, just call it
Yep.
what it is. It is a Slovenian cave beetle.
that's a great name. I'm on board with that one.
So this whole conversation too has becoming more and more relevant because we are starting to look at at common names and thinking about changing them, and some have been changed here in the United States. We changed a bird name recently. It was a bird named after
Confederate, yeah.
bad Confederate soldier. One something Longspur. So that leads me into our last one, which is the one that AC had mentioned when suggesting this episode, which is the gypsy moth, which is right now in the news because they're contemplating changing both gypsy moth and the gypsy ant.
Yes.
So a little bit of quick background. Natural history for the gypsy moth. They're native to southern Europe, northern Africa, central and southern Asia, and Japan, and they live in forested areas. Several subspecies. Males and females look different. Males are light brown with darker wings and black banding. Females are mostly white with dark banding. Pretty average size moth, 1.5 to 2.5 inch wingspan. Females can lay 1,000 eggs per breeding
wow.
season. And where this all comes into, you might have heard of this gypsy moth because this is an incredibly invasive moth species here in the United States that causes major damage to forests.
Yeah.
Over a cycle of several years, the entire forest can be destroyed. You can be driving and like you'll see a mountainside that is just
bad.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So it first arrived in Massachusetts in 1869 and is now found all over the eastern U.S. And the reason it's bad is because caterpillars eat over 300 species of trees and shrubs and strip them of vegetation, which can lead to death of the tree.
And you should look it up, because it is it's insane the damage they do.
They eat every leaf on the tree, essentially.
Goodness.
And 1,000 eggs per breeding season from just one moth. It's a lot of babies. Yeah. So, and I didn't know that colonies may fly from place to place to find new food.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so they can just leave and go somewhere else. And what ends up happening is eggs and larvae are accidentally transported to new places, which is how they got here.
Makes sense.
So, why is it badly named, you might be wondering? Because this one isn't nearly as blatant as, Hitler's eyeless beetle. This is a gypsy moth.
Yeah.
So, the politically incorrect name has recently been brought up in the news because the Entomological Society of America is renaming it, pending suggestions from the public and its final decision. So, the term gypsy is a pejorative, which means it's a slur against the Romani people. Romani or Roma people. The Roma people are Europe's largest ethnic minority and have faced discrimination throughout history. There is a lot of bad connotations with the name of gypsy. And whether or not you agree with PC culture and things, it's just not kind. People tend to use the word gypsy when referring to someone who travels place to place, hence where the name of this insect came from. You know, it hitched a ride and came here. Yeah. And it's...
originally, I don't think the people who named it... I don't think they didn't mean it, but times... It is a racial slur. Times change.
And just acknowledge it and move on.
And again, it's not... It's the name of a species. Just change it.
Right. In today's world, I believe we can take a step back and recognize that we shouldn't be using racial, ethnic, or any other type of slur to refer to a species.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. There's just no point. Whenever somebody can name an insect turd eye, you know what I mean? There's so many other things. You can literally name it anything else. Why do it? Just change it.
Especially because so in this insect would have such an interesting other name. So, and like I said, the gypsy moth, the Entomological Society of America is taking suggestions.
Which I'd be so interested to see.
Right? Let's name this moth. And we can suggest it. So the gypsy moth's scientific name, is, making sure I get it right, Lymantria dispar. I couldn't find what dispar means, but Lymantria means destroyer.
Jeez.
So the destroyer moth is a way cooler name.
Yes, the destroyer
and totally
moth
describes what it does.
Yes. That would be fun.
My vote is definitely for the destroyer moth.
Yes, absolutely, the destroyer moth. It has been decided.
It's not only agreed with, it's its scientific name and the job that it does, which I'm sure is why they called it scientific.
Yeah.
So destroyer
moth. The destroyer.
And then you can have no qualms about being like, gosh dang, that destroyer moth.
Well, if we have a moth that's the uncertain one, make the destroyer. At least give it a sweet badass name, the destroyer.
Yeah. And you can then be perfectly mad at it for destroying our forest.
Because it makes sense to be mad at it then.
Yeah. So that's the last animal name. So as our listeners know, animals can be badly named for a variety of reasons. Inaccuracy, ridiculous entomologists being crazy,
interns with a mullet.
Yeah. Just being culturally insensitive. We can go on, and this is just the animals.
Yeah, we didn't even focus on plants or there's so much out
fungi,
there. Yeah. There's so much out there. Well, that was a fun episode. If you guys want to hear more, make sure you go back and listen to old episodes. We're starting to get more and more of a bank of all of our previous episodes that we've done. Go follow us on social media at FTLON on several of the different platforms. Also, make sure you go to Patreon and search for us and support so we can pay to do continuing research, apparently.
I can apparently find out about this bird.
Right? So please support us if you're able to.
And remember, guys, we have one more episode of the season, and next week it's going to be great. We're going to have an awesome guest speaker. Be sure to tune in next week.
All right, everyone. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.